on
We are
Telegram.
live now indeed. Wow, Renegades, thank you so much for joining us for another fun show. Hey, look who I have online. You know, recognize that fellow over my shoulder? You know who he is? Lewis Herms is here. Lewis is the creator and founder, I guess, of the Truth Tour. I guess founder is really the right word, right? A founder. You created it out of scratch. It was just an idea and it became something real. Lewis is also a good friend and he is a serial entrepreneur and he's someone who has created a lot of great things in his life, many different businesses, and we're talking about doing even more going forward. Stay tuned. You
Mhm.
should hear some of the plans we've been kicking around together. Lewis, welcome to the program today.
Well, you're one of my favorites, so I'm very, very happy to be here. In fact, I should be on more often, but I know I'm a lower name, so you rarely have me on.
I'd have you on every week, just like Bruce. You know, we're doing a show every week with him now. So
It's great. It's
absolutely,
great to be here. You're looking good, Robert.
you're looking good too. I'm loving the color of your hair. We got to get into that conversation a little
It's
bit later too.
crazy. Every day I just laugh.
I'm looking. Where is it? Not working yet. It's
Mhm.
been 3 months.
And that's the whole thing too, is glutathione. When you bring glutathione into your body and it works with your mitochondria and everything else, all it does is it sends signals to where you need to be working on.
Yeah.
Clearly it thought I needed work in regards to my hair. So it started turning my gray hair dark. It's crazy. But I hear that is a normal side effect for some people. Um, who knows? Whatever, right? It
Yeah,
means it's working.
it's always fun to learn something new, and this is what we want to bring more of this to the people that follow us because we're involved in all this stuff. We're kind of on a cutting edge in a lot of things, and it's really fun to be able to roll this stuff forward and bring it out to people and let them know, hey, there are other ways of doing things. Hair dye is not the only solution. And I started going gray at 17 though, so I didn't really have a lot of life with color.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so. They say we're the wise ones. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a wise guy. I don't know.
You're the wise one and the wise guy.
Maybe. Hey, I want to get into today. June 24th is a big day. We've been working really hard trying to put this thing together. Truth Tour San Diego coming up. There's going to be a lot of great folks there, and just a quick list of some of the people that you're going to see at the free event. Really excited about doing this one. It's going to be fun, and I wanted to talk a little bit more because I know people are. I don't know about you, Lewis, but I know we spend a lot of time on Telegram. We have a lot of chat rooms. I have people contacting me in the back end, and the general sense is people are in fear right now.
Mm.
There's fear and there's frustration, and those two seem to be playing against each other in a lot of ways for folks.
Yeah. Well, here's the reality. I think what we need to do more as truthers and influencers, and I know you do this, we need to look from the perspective of we the people, not just from behind the screen or in front of the screen in the chair where we sit behind the keyboard. And my reason for that is I really like to pay attention, and I think people are worn out. Now,
Yeah,
part of that is the construct that was created with the hopium of trust the plan, everything's going to be over, Trump will get back in 2020, and so on and so forth. So what happened is they were kind of set up for a great fall. Well, the the good news of that, I think people are now starting to use their own discernment and do their own research into things, and they're not just going to believe a Lewis Herms or a Robert or anybody else that's out there.
yeah,
They're like, okay, well, let me use my own discernment, and I'm cool with people disagree with me. In fact, as long as you want to have a spirited gentleman's debate, I'm all for it, or gentlewoman's debate, I'm all for it. And the challenge is people just go on attack.
yeah,
I think people are hurt. I mean, they're worn down. The reality is the we are in hyperinflation, but it's not being said statistically right now because they're doing such a good job at hiding it. But so I have taken anecdotal data all around, all through my travels and everything, and I can tell you in some places, this is no exaggeration, prices have gone up 250% on some items and services. So, and others, just on in general, on eggs, 55% on fuel. We know where fuel is, and so on and so forth. So, the game that they play though is they use shrinkflation first. So if you would have a 16-ounce item, you now have a 10-ounce item for the exact same
Yeah,
price. That was
stagflation, right? Mm-hmm.
that was a manipulation
Yep.
that they do. So they don't really consider that inflation. That's one thing of how they pretend. And then on top of that, now they can't do any more shrinkflation. They can't take away any more services. They can't reduce their customer service or the quality of goods anymore. So what do they have to do? Now it's flat in your face. Increase the price, increase the price, increase the price. So inflation's going up. We're clearly in a recession. Unemployment is horrible. So what now people are going, it's starting to hit home. So the patriots that have been out there for a while fighting, and I'm not talking about just the truthers, I'm talking about the people online, the digital soldiers, have been worn down to effect. Now, the good news is there's a whole new blood coming in right now. I'm seeing new people waking up all the time, but they're going to have to go through the same maturation process. And all I tell the people that are kind of getting worn out and so on and so forth, I get it. Take a deep breath. Let some of these new people come in and take the wheel a little bit, but get active. If you have a purpose, and maybe that purpose is small, maybe that purpose is removing porn from your middle school library. Have a purpose. If you focus on that, you'll get re-energized really quickly because the micro really does fix the macro.
It really does, and that's good advice for people to take it one step at a time. And it's hard sometimes because I'm seeing this in my Facebook feed. I get people contacting me, and they're like, "I can't wait for this to be over. I can't wait for this to be over."
Yeah.
Okay, when it's over, we still have a lot of work to do. We have to rebuild.
Yeah.
It's not going to be easy, right? It's going to be a lot of slogging because a lot of our systems. And I tell people, it's like, why isn't it over faster? I said, well, if you think about it, if you see a train wreck happen in real time, it looks like it's happening in slow motion, right? Something small, two cars hitting, boom, it happens really quickly. But if a train goes off the rails, cars fall and they flip, and it's much slower. The bigger it is, the slower it is. And if you look at this is not just USA. We kind of get a little myopic sometimes about it. This is global in nature. It's massive. So things are falling, but it feels like it's happening in slow motion because in many respects it is.
Well, how do you turn around an aircraft carrier? Very slowly.
Yep. And
You
with a
know?
lot of help, right?
Yeah. And that's plus how do you turn one around that has 1,000 years of momentum behind it?
Yeah.
And that's what we're dealing with.
And
You
and
know,
then we've got all these systems that are failing, and it's like, okay, we're going to have to replace all of these things. They're not going to be the same
yeah.
systems as we go forward here. Things are
And
going to be much different. They have to
they
be.
have to fail.
Yeah, they
They
have to
have to
fail
fail
to be
because
replaced. Exactly.
if we got everything fixed in 3 or 4 years and we're right back on the same systems,
10
we're
years from
done.
now.
There's
Yeah.
it's over. We don't even have a chance. So I understand people's apathy and they're worn out. It's not easy now. So how do I motivate people? Because it's tough when
Well, I'm going to give
you
you a compliment right here before you go there because that is the number one thing that you do for people is inspire them through all of this. And we need more shining lights out there who can do that because, like I said, all the media is very, very dark these days. And people are tuning out because they can't take it anymore. And they look for people like a Lewis Herms to say, hey, here's the bright side of everything. So, all you, I want you to hear this.
thank you. So Carol Maureen Friesen has said that I look for the diamonds in the dog shit. And it's true because here's what I know. If things suck and you're focusing on the suck, it's going to suck more. If I can put it in the most layman terms possible, right? If things suck and you can find a purpose for yourself or find some positive, you start to move forward and you will gain momentum and things will get better and better and better and better. Not just because you feel good about it, because you're part of the solution, not part of the suck. So it's incredibly important for us to take a deep breath and find something positive in your life somewhere. Just find it. It's there. And sometimes we're so immersed in how horrible things are, we don't see that beautiful blooming daisy outside your front yard. You just
Well
don't see
put.
it.
Well put, and it's very true because the dark stuff, the fear, is really what takes over when that emotional. I call it emotional fog because it's really hard to see clear when you're in fear. It's hard to make good decisions when you're in fear. It's the wrong place to do that from, and a lot of us have been put into these spaces of fear, and we're trying to make decisions about what we want to do going forward. What's our life going to look like, and all that kind of thing. And it's like it's the wrong place to make a decision from, and it's really hard. It's the frustration is you and I as entrepreneurs, we could always predict 6 months out, a year out, what was going to happen. We kind of knew the trends in
Right.
real estate, stock market, whatever. We had a good idea. We're in a situation now where that's not possible. It changes so dramatically every day. I mean, they just announced today that they're going to spend another $1 trillion now that there's no more debt ceiling. It's like, what is that going to do to our economy?
Yeah,
Yeah.
obviously. So it's you said something I think is very, very important about fear. And I believe, and this is kind of how I get through every day, is I ask myself, what would the cabal want me to do? And the cabal would want me to be afraid. They would want me to lack confidence. They would want me sick, and they would want me to be stagnant and not do anything. So do I want to give them those gifts? I refuse to. So I do exactly the opposite from what they would want me to do. So I resonate in positivity. I love working at this. I love the battle moving forward, and I love to watch people heal. Everything they don't want me to do is
Yeah.
what I do. It's literally that easy. I think what we do is we overcomplicate things, and if it's simple, generally it's God's work, in my opinion. And that's a very simple formula. What do they want from you? Give them exactly the opposite.
It's a very good piece of advice because I think that's what people are getting caught up in. They're getting caught up in, and it's a manipulation, right? It's intentional to put us into fear. It's
Mm-hmm.
intentional to have us be demotivated or demoralized and not have goals and not pursue them, and that we become more and more, their ability to control us and manipulate us becomes stronger the deeper we go into fear. We put our heads in the sand. We don't do anything anymore. We don't create anything anymore. And that's what you're exactly right. That's what they're looking for. So, time to pull the head out of the sand and just move forward no matter what's going on. Now, I've been doing that. Phoebe and I have been doing that. We've been saying, okay, every day we're going to, take the day as it comes and we're going to remain flexible. If this is what happens, this is what happens. We, understand what's going on and move on and try not to get too emotionally attached to anything because things are changing so rapidly.
So I'm going to use you as an example,
Okay.
and I'm not going to be specific,
Mm-hmm.
but I know you've got a lot of personal stuff going on right now. But look at what you're doing right now, and you're positive, you're smiling, you're
Yeah.
working, you're moving forward, you're always making decisions to do better and better and better and better. And I know most people in the situation that you're in right now literally would get depressed, put the pillow over their head, and they would just fall asleep.
Yeah. No, I decided at the very beginning of this, back in 2020, when it all started, I said our key to surviving all of this is to not get involved emotionally as much as possible. It's not always possible to not have emotion around things, but just take it as it comes. Okay, we're selling the property. Okay, not my first choice, but I can see why. You know what I mean? There's a logic to it. Take the emotion out of it, and you can get through it. Otherwise, you get destroyed. Because everything
Yeah.
out there is trying to push you to being demoralized.
Well, it's amazing because during this, I had I'll tell a story. It's a very interesting
Okay.
story about my business. I started a business. I was working for what I know now to be a cabal company before. They were the largest in this industry, the most successful in the United States in the industry. And I was their number one guy. And I would train people and so on and so forth. So I had two top level managers in this business recruit me and said, "Would you like to start a business together?" And we did. We did everything right. We did everything legally, but we got sued by this cabal company years ago. This is no exaggeration. When that lawsuit got to us, it was 18 inches thick.
Wow.
So if you can imagine dealing
Wow.
with lawfare, and they're worth hundreds of millions of dollars, right?
Yeah.
That lawsuit was 18 inches thick. That's the definition of lawfare, right? And coming after us using the law, what I think is illegally. Now, There was no justification for the lawsuit.
Mm-hmm.
There was no reason for it, but they knew it would crush us. We found out later, and this is where we should have done our due diligence. Any high level employee that left their business, they would do the exact same thing to if they started in the same industry. They did the same thing to them. Why? Because every business would cave and they would quit. They would say, we're out of the business completely. And they literally would erase their competition by doing that. They were really fearful of us because we were the top producers and we created so many new techniques and systems. By the way, that's why we ended up winning the lawsuit, because I proved to them. Finally I said, my attorney was a total knucklehead. I said, let me write the response to the judge directly, hand this to the judge. And I went point by point of how this lawsuit is completely ridiculous. The judge had no counter, and he's just like, so finally they ended up saying we had to sign a letter that there's no winner, no loser, and we can't talk bad about them. I'm like, whatever, it went away. But here's the ramifications of that. It cost us, between the cost of the lawsuit and sales, it cost us over $1 million.
Wow.
And it also cost the health condition of one of my partners. And my other partner said, I'm done with this. And he retired. So I was left with the bag. And over time, I ended up building it back up. We got in this truther movement, and I got right to the place where we almost paid off all our debt. So I would have been making a lot of money. And the business was valued at $2.5 million. Now, doesn't mean you'll sell after that, but it's valued at a lot of money. I went on right after that, and my wife and I are excited because we just got the debt paid down. We knew we were finally going to get a check. This is after years, 5 years. We said, we're going to get our first check. I went on True Tour 1. And I came back, and I couldn't get the offers that I thought were going to be on the business. People weren't doing, for two reasons. One is because of what I was doing. Nobody wanted to be associated with that. And number two is they're saying, because you're not involved and you can't sign a contract with us, it devalues the business. All these excuses. And then we went through some financial problems in that industry itself. And I went on True Tour 2. Anyways, long story short, I had an offer before I went on one of the tours, got all the way down to $250,000, which is ridiculously low.
Yeah.
I got back, and that offer was $100,000. I did something else. I got back, and everybody's like, no, can you just give us your list of customers and so on and so forth? So I lost $2.5 million because I decided I wanted to invest my time and loyalties into waking people up. So that's not counting everything else I've lost. So I made a conscious decision. Thank God. I should say we lost, because it's my wife and I that have lost. And she's been so supportive. She's paid all the bills, right, for a long time. She's extraordinarily supportive. The reason why I'm telling this story is if she was willing to sacrifice for the cause like that, you can find some diamond in the dog shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we can make a difference, no matter how small it is. We can make a difference. If I want to dwell on that, the past, I'm not going to do anything. But now we have an amazing documentary coming out. We're going to our 76th Truth Tour. We have an app that I think is going to change the world. We have Freedom in Action site that does a lot of things, right? We're meeting a lot of incredible people and building an incredible army, an army of people that are going to change things for the better in the future.
And
So
I got to
as a
tell you,
work,
that army is very well connected too. We're all, always, communicating with each other and keeping everybody informed. So yeah, we are really well connected because of the Truth Tour primarily.
well, whatever it was, I literally don't need any credit. All I want is the end result, and the end result is that we have the putty, we the people, we form this new Terra, as I call it, the way we want to see it.
Yep.
That's it. And if we do it next week, that's cool, because I want to go snorkeling. If it takes a few years, takes a few years. If it takes decades, God forbid it does. But at least we're leaving something for the kids and the grandkids and the generations to come.
Hey, I'm with you on the snorkeling anytime.
Right. Cheers to that.
Absolutely. Let's talk a little bit about June 24th, because this is going to be a big Truth Tour. I'm calling it a mega event. I know it's not promoted that way, but It's going to
It
be
is.
the biggest one yet of all the Truth Tours. This is number 76. Tell us a little bit more about what you're expecting.
I think it's going to be amazing. The diversity of speakers will blow people away. When they see the list of speakers, it will blow people away. So it's in San Diego, June 24th. Grade that I would recommend to people just because the upgrade is pretty cool. So you can get a free ticket. That's fantastic. But we have an upgrade, and the upgrade means you get to spend the first hour and a half of the day just with the people that upgraded and with the actual truthers and speakers, which is amazing. That's private time. You get preferred seating, so select your seat where you want. If you want us to put something on it and save it for you in the front, we'll do that. And in addition to that, you get an amazing lunch also, and you can sit down and mingle with all of us for lunch. So I think the upgrade grades is a no brainer. It's 129, but I never want somebody's financial position to prevent them from getting the truth. And that's why this is a free event. I will absolutely tell you, we will vet you. So if you're going to go on a free ticket, you will be having to supply your identification. And we're going to probably create a portal online that you can do that ahead of time. Because as Robert can tell you, he's seen events before where they've had 10,000 tickets or something that were free and they ended up with 500 people there. We're not going to set ourselves up for that. So everybody would be vetted and contacted ahead of time. It's an amazing event, though. Now we are looking for vendors and sponsors only because we've never even thought about it until right now. So we haven't put the word out. But when you get 1,000 people there, I'm sure that would be great for vendors and sponsors as well.
It's going to be phenomenal because I know a lot of the vendors who want to be in front of this audience and don't quite know how to do it. It's sort of better than Facebook advertising, Facebook and all the rest of these. And they don't really support a lot of these companies, and a lot of them, I've been told, can't even advertise. Their ads aren't even approved.
Yeah, I know some even some Patriot coffee companies that they won't even let them advertise.
Yeah.
It's like it's ridiculous. But yeah, the event is going to be amazing. I don't know if you heard, we just added Delora O'Brien, one of my favorite people on the planet. She will
Outstanding.
be there, so that's exciting as well.
And this is mostly people who are going to be there in person, and there's going to be a few on video, but that'll be during, I believe, the lunch break.
Yeah, and we're very specifically showing you who's going to be on video and who's going to be in person.
Right.
And I think it's only 3 people on video, and the other 15, 20 people will all be in person.
Outstanding. Can't wait for it. All right. So, objection number one, people would say is, well, I don't have the money. Well, you've answered that because you can get a free ticket,
There
right?
you
So,
go.
money's not the issue. Um, the other objection I hear a lot is, will it be any different than watching these same people online, the videos and the interviews that they do? How is it different?
Great question. Well, one is we're asking all the guests, all of them, to bring new material, and that they're working on specifically for this event because it is just a fantastic, amazing event, and we want to set ourselves off different than we do on the videos. So they are bringing new material that's going to be hands-on, and we will be specifically, if people are interested, and I hope they are, teaching some skill sets on what they could do with inside their communities to make a difference.
Good. That makes a lot of sense. So the content's going to be different than what they're getting. Okay. We talked about this a little bit, but the response I've been getting from some people is, I'm feeling hopeless. Nothing seems to change. Lots of talk, no action. What's the point?
Yeah, well, there is a lot going on though. There really is. And if you don't think we the people are winning, you may want to call Bud Light, call Target, and now Chick-fil-A's even getting heat because of somebody they hired on there, a diversity, equity, whatever, all these ridiculous acronyms. Um, so we the people are noticing for the first time that we the people as patriots and conservative patriots, we have a voice that we were told we don't have.
Yep.
In fact, Sean Hannity would tell you not to have a voice, but that's part of the whole controlled opposition I can go into at a later time. But he actually would tell you don't have a voice because it's disrespectful for us to boycott. What the hell are you talking about? Of course it's not disrespectful. We should boycott and we should boycott. That's exactly what we should do.
Yeah.
The power of the purse is absolutely incredible. If people don't understand the way the cabal works, the first thing they do is they try to give you money in order to do their bidding. The second thing they do is then they try to take away your money in order to do your bidding. If that doesn't work, they want to get you in a compromised position. So it's the formula is out there. It's so specific on how it works that the first thing we can do is we can cut the money off. Because if you I'm not going to bash all Fortune 500 companies, but it's probably all Fortune 500 companies are directly connected to the globalist agenda in
Yep.
some way.
Through BlackRock and
BlackRock,
Vanguard, right?
Vanguard, yeah,
Yep.
exactly, something like that.
Yeah, exactly that. And to talk about the Truth Tour specifically, Derek Johnson's going to be one of the guests, and he's going to
That's
bring
right.
the heat on what's really going on behind the scenes. That a lot of people say, "Well, nothing's happening, nothing's happening." You listen to Derek for 20 minutes, your head's going to blow up.
Yep, he's going to bring a lot of new stuff too, so that'll be exciting.
Yeah, one of the things we saw here in San Diego, I think 2 days ago, were large groups of helicopters flying into Camp Pendleton. Not just one or two, like you normally see two flying together, maybe three sometimes, but this was like 20 or plus, 20 or more. And same thing
40,
in
yeah,
Texas and also in Florida. I've been
yeah.
seeing that.
I should ask my son about that because he was in the Marines, he was on that base, and he lives out there in San Diego. So I should give him a call and ask him what that's all about.
Yeah,
He'd probably know. Consider now, guess what he does? He works on helicopters, so he probably has a clue.
probably knows what's going on. There were, in my neighborhood here, helicopters flying over, SWAT teams, hundreds of sheriff cars everywhere the other day. And there's a ranch not too far from here. They've been there now for 2 days. And I drove by
Really?
yesterday, and they had someone in handcuffs, a young black girl in handcuffs. So I'm like, okay, something's going on out here.
Do you have no idea what it is?
Not yet. Nobody said anything, and we're all hoping for information. It's been mum's the word, so whatever's going on is going on. They're just not talking about it.
Wow.
You know what's interesting? I'll tell you, being right on the edge of Camp Pendleton, actually right between two of the impact zones in Camp Pendleton. I think we're 10 miles from one and 14 from another. And normally this time of year, maybe a night
Interesting.
here and a night there, but there's been nothing. It's just like,
Maybe they're busy.
well, maybe they're busy, or maybe they gave all the ammunition to Ukraine. I don't know.
Oh
Something
gosh,
like
no.
So we're going to
That's
find out more about those things. I mean, those are the kind of questions people have, and when they see things like that in the air, they're like, "Okay, what's really going on here?" And Truth Tour is going to help bring that out because Derek Johnson will be there. He's got the inside scoop. And you, if you talk to your son and he gives you anything, I'm sure you'll bring that up as well on stage.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because there, like you said, I mean, it's hard sometimes to recognize that there's a lot going on, but there is a lot going on out there, a lot, and it's just a question now of saying, what are we gonna see things more with our eyes rather than just hearing it from this person, that person, right?
Well, yeah, and but there is a massive amount going on. And let's put all of our political biases aside,
Yep.
forget about who's controlled opposition, who's bad, who's good, so on and so forth. Let's just look at some markers. Um, Marjorie Taylor Greene is exposing the cabal like crazy right now in Congress. The Republicans are slowly exposing Joe Biden, Hunter Biden, and so on and so forth in Congress. There's some interesting uh, court cases that are actually going in the right direction, which is very odd. So that's interesting. Newt Gingrich, who I think is an absolute member of the cabal previously, just came out on Fox Business News exposing the globalist agenda that includes, wait for it, skull and bones. Literally saying that it's skull and bones that are running everything
Wow.
on Fox Business, right? Tucker Carlson fired, leaves, whatever, and he gets within 2 days, I think, had 70 million viewers, and now Fox wants to sue him. Of course they do, right? We Shasta County, there was a big win. There's a big win in many places. I can tell you locally, there's some things that are going on that are going to be huge, or like Donald Trump said, huge. So there's a lot of wonderful things going on, and people are waking up like crazy. The narrative is going in the right direction.
Surprise out of nowhere, right? That one just popped up.
That was weird.
Yeah.
Now they do have a loophole in there, which I explained on a video of mine. Um, how, but just don't talk about uh, ballots or don't talk about mail-in ballots. Well, duh, you use Dominion in order to get the number to a certain place, and then you use the fake mail-in ballots in order to get that number. But whatever, that's fine. That's their loophole. But what I'm saying is there's a lot happening. The momentum is rolling so hard, especially with these businesses, these woke businesses that are going out of business. It's unstoppable. And
Well, you
by the
saw
way,
what happened in Arizona this morning too. The printer company Oki came back and said, "You
mhm,
can't run 100-pound paper through our printers. It's only certified for 80-pound." So they ran
that's
paper
right.
that was too heavy and it jammed all the printers up. And they said nobody ever contacted us. Nobody ever asked us. But if you would have read the manual, you would have seen that. You know?
Well, yeah, I believe they also said you need to stop your narrative
Yeah.
that we had something to do with supplying them because we did not.
Yep.
Yeah, so sorry, that had nothing to do with
Yep.
us. So the cabal wanted to position them as an ally, and they came out, no, no, we're not going to be a scapegoat for you.
Yeah,
This is
and
big
I don't know
stuff.
2 years ago if these companies would have had the guts to do that.
No, they wouldn't. You're right, Robert. So what's happening is we're seeing a momentum, right?
Yeah.
I love this analogy. Here, I'll grab it. Not to put you on the spot, but I'm sure you're the one person that would know exactly what this is.
Oh, I remember the name. I know Mitch mentioned it.
Sisyphus.
Sisyphus. Yes, that's it. That's the name.
So
Pushing the
what
boulder up the hill.
Sisyphus is doing is his penance is for eternity. He would have to push this stone ball uphill, right? What's happening right now is that's what we've been doing forever. The
Yeah.
cabal has created that construct for it.
Right.
I believe we reached the crest of the hill, and now it's starting to go like this. And I'm sorry, that is unstoppable force.
Yes.
We, the people, are never looking back. We're building momentum, and it is like a snowball. And that
Hmm.
snowball, just consider the snowball good people. And one sticks to it, and another, and it builds bigger and bigger and bigger. The cabal knows this. And the reason why the cabal is doing all this crazy stuff is they are so backed into the corner, they have to.
Are they
Or
ever? Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
they're all puppets of the white hats, and the white hats are making them. Whatever's going on, it's an absolute benefit for we the people. If we can take a deep breath, get remotivated, get back in the fight, let's get going. I get it though. People are wary by now.
Take a breather. It's okay to take a breather. It's okay to step back from it. Turn off the news for a day or two. It's okay to recharge. There are other people that will take your place in the meantime. And then when you're feeling it, come back into it. I was talking to Bruce about this too, and he said he gets his panties in a knot. I'm like, I didn't know you wore panties, Bruce, but okay, you know. And he was saying that he gets all emotionally attached to a lot of this stuff, and it just burns him up, and he gets all upset, and it's like then he's got to take
Right.
a few days, get through that emotion, get back, and then he can get back into it.
Yep. I agree.
It's
But
the
you can't.
strategy.
You can't. That's what they want. So I don't want to give them that.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. What else is here? President Trump now expected to be indicted for a second time, this time by the DOJ. That's an interesting story. A lot of show there more than teeth. I don't think there's much in the way of teeth in that one, but
Oh, there's not teeth in any of them.
yeah,
This just shows the level of corruption. Every time something bad happens to Trump, his numbers go
polls
up.
go up. Yeah, exactly.
So
Yep.
it's so I think him and his attorneys have to be laughing in the background, unless of course this is all part of the movie. So, and I always have to preface it, I'm
We
not
don't
an
know.
insider.
We don't know.
I
Yeah,
don't know. So I'm going to act as the way I should act, so I don't sit on my couch and wait for things to happen.
right.
But I would think every time this happens, him and his attorneys and friends are just laughing. They're like, "Oh, fantastic! This is like free marketing."
Really is, and you know, he seems to beat every one of them that comes up. So I'm like, yeah, I'm not too worried about it, you know. And they've never gone after a president or ex-president with this ever before, so this would be unprecedented in that respect. So it's interesting to watch. I mean, you know, the theater that's out there, and you know, if you can step back far enough from it, you can see that it's theater. If you're up too close to it, sitting too close to the television, literally, you know, you're not seeing it because you're getting the narrative. And if you can't read between the lines of the narrative, a lot of people get lost in that.
Yeah, that's a great explanation too.
Yeah.
I totally agree with it. Um, people are easily triggered nowadays, though. In fact, I just wrote a post today. A couple of my latest interviews, people are so upset with some of the things I'm talking about. Like, I need to be in lockstep with whatever the patriot narrative is. Like, I have to be the perfect patriot Christian, or I can't talk about chemtrails unless I completely agree with the narrative. And oh my God, it's just crazy. And I'm like, guys, I want to live in a world where I can have an open, friendly debate with somebody. God, how boring is it if we agreed with everybody?
No, that's not freedom of speech. That's not what we live for. I mean, freedom of speech is you can have your beliefs, you can practice your religion. You don't push it on me. I don't push mine on you. We both live happily ever after. And
Yeah.
everyone has to have their own goals, their own desires, their own dreams, and should be free to pursue them any way they choose. And the jealousy and the infighting sometimes, especially in the truther community, I'm seeing a lot of that, and it's really sad to see because we really should be at this point all on the same page rather than pointing the gun at each other. Protecting our
Yeah.
group. You know,
It's funny because I can tell you right now, let me see, one, two, three, four. Okay. There's four top truthers that don't like me at all right now. And there's two that are frustrated with me. The two that are frustrated with me is because I don't parrot their narrative,
yeah.
right?
Hmm.
So that's all right. They'll live. They're still friends. And the other four, I'm not quite sure why they don't like me. I've never done anything to them, but they've made it very apparent to other people within the truther community how they don't like me. And I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. I just do me. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
all I care about is we the people. I have made it very public that I don't give a damn about any truthers or any influencers. I wish them the best. I hope we all get together as one unified, um, momentous push, and let's get this done, and we go our separate ways. But I don't really care if they're my friends or not. You know what I
No,
mean?
at some point it doesn't matter. And the truth is like if we do come together, we'll win faster than if we have all this infighting, all this nonsense. And a lot of it's just ego based.
Right. And Buckshot just said, because you don't kiss their ass. There's some truth to that from what I've heard from other people, and it's unnecessary because it's we the people.
Yeah, has
Like
nothing to do
I
with us.
appreciate what President Trump did, but I wouldn't kiss his ass.
Yeah,
In fact, I have some hard questions for him when I sit down with him. It's just because it's we the people.
yeah.
We got. I don't want anybody to put me up on a pedestal. If I am, knock me down at the knees and let's have a conversation. That's how we got here in the first place, is because we idolize people.
Well, we were a Hollywood centric society for a very long time, right? The Hollywood people were the leaders of our society
Yep.
in many respects. And look where that led us, right? That led us into a train wreck. And these Hollywood actors and actresses talking politics and stuff. I'm like, you guys aren't qualified for that. That's not your expertise. You know what I mean? It's like, shut up about it. Just do your thing.
Yeah.
And if they would have done that, it would have been okay. But when they started crossing those lines, and then they started to create a lot of division in our country. You know?
Yeah, they did. I think that was intentional.
Yeah, and we are more divided now, I think, than we've been in years past. And it's sort of intentional now to divide us even further because the more divided we are, the weaker we are. And we should know that in this community and not be playing along with that game. I'm like you, Lewis. I don't care what people think about me either. I just go forward and do what I'm doing. And if you like it, you like it. If you don't like it, that's okay too.
Yeah,
You know?
but we can still get along, get the job
Yeah.
done, go our separate ways afterwards. It
Yep.
doesn't. It's not that big of a deal. You know what I mean? But
It's not an ego
it's
play, and you got to get over the ego, and it's all about me, and I've got the latest news, and I've got the intel. So you've got it for 10 minutes, and everyone else is gonna have it then. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Kind of silly. Kind of silly.
it's crazy.
All right,
But it's all right.
debt ceiling, gone, wiped out, doesn't exist anymore.
The
More
debts.
theater.
Well, let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Do we not? I think it's every. Is it every year or every 2 years that we come up against the debt ceiling. I think it's every 2 years, right?
whenever we hit it. Yes, depending on how high they raise it
Approximately.
and how much
Yeah, it's
spending. Yeah,
approximately.
yeah,
So we have this public conversation approximately every 2 years.
right.
And approximately every 2 years, it's cataclysmic. Approximately every 2 years, if we don't raise the debt ceiling, we're going to get a horrible credit rating with all the other countries. This would bankrupt our country. It's the worst possible thing for us, right?
That's the narrative. Yes,
Is it possible that's all it is just the narrative?
it is very possible, and that's been my feeling for decades, that it doesn't matter, because who are we going to pay the $31 trillion to?
It's
We're
exactly
never
right.
going to pay it back. We know that, right? So, and Trump didn't seem to be worrying about it at all. It's just numbers
No,
that are printed on a computer. It makes absolutely no difference, right?
because it's all based on a false monetary system.
The fiat currency, yeah,
That's exactly right.
yeah.
So if it's based on a fiat currency, which is fraudulent, and fraud does what?
It vitiates everything, right?
There you go.
Yeah,
So therefore, why would we worry about the debt ceiling at all?
yeah.
Now, I know the narrative why we should worry about the debt ceiling, but this narrative pops up very, very, very often for decades and decades and decades. We always increase it. We never not increase it, right? We always increase the debt ceiling. We get through this crisis and then people forgot. So if you remember, I think this is around Obama. If we hit 20 trillion, that number, if you remember the narrative, when we hit 20 trillion, it's done. America's over. There's no recovering from that ever again. And where are we now? 31?
Well, we're at 33 now, and we'll be at
33.
36. They're
There you
claiming
go.
by next year,
Yeah.
and it's like, well,
Barely over 20 million,
yeah,
right?
a trillion.
But
Yeah,
20 trillion,
yeah,
right, right. And I'm sorry, the Earth was going to end in 2012 also because of
right.
climate change,
Yep,
right? Huh. It's like, it's very interesting to keep hearing these narratives.
exactly.
It's all it's all of it. All of it. There, Carol just gave me my number. Thank you, Carol. She says Congress has revised the debt ceiling 78 times since 1960.
Wow,
That tells you how often it comes up.
kind of tells you everything you need to know. Yeah,
Right. So it's just a bullshit narrative just to scare us, freak us out, keep us divided. So the cabal works on fear and division.
hmm,
They're very, very easy what their game plan is, but we fall through it all the time. So Republican, oh, Democrat, ah. You know what I mean? That's the way it is, right?
it's the
Oh,
uniparty.
Christian, oh, Muslim, oh. It's just it's ridiculous. And
But you
it's
know what's
all
really funny about the Muslim and Christian thing? If you look at the story of Muhammad and the story of Christ, it's the same story. Dates and times are different. Some of the details are different, but same story.
careful, careful. You're gonna get hate mail like I got the
Well,
last couple of days.
that's where we are, right? My
It's
hairdresser is Muslim, so I get to hear all the inside scoops of everything that's going on with that religion. It's kind of interesting for me. I just love to learn the differences and realize that every religion is so much more similar than they are different. It's like Democrats and Republicans, the same thing. You tell me one person, Democrat or Republican, that doesn't want a great environment, right? Doesn't want a safe environment. No pollution, no water pollution, no air pollution. Everyone wants that. You tell me one Republican or Democrat that doesn't want a great economy, doesn't want everybody employed, doesn't want great jobs and great benefits. It's like if you look at all the elements that where we do connect, there's 99% of the things we agree on. We may disagree on how to get there, but we all want the same thing.
well, in 2023, this is what a patriot stands for. A patriot stands for owning their own piece of land, building a garden on their own piece of land to survive, being left alone, doing what they want. Many of them like to get grounded. They're very spiritual, and they're against big pharma. Well, guess what? In 1970, you know who that was? That was a
Democrats.
hippie.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
That was a liberal hippie.
yeah.
Now it's a patriot.
Hmm.
So we need to start embracing what we have in common,
Correct.
and just get rid of the other things. Can be a discussion. Like I don't want to offend you, Christian, but there probably are some good Muslim people on this planet too. Oh my, did he really say that? Sorry, Muslims, there's some good Christians on the planet too.
Yep.
Guess what? There's some people that aren't religious that are good. What? He said that? Not in the Patriot movement. That's just crazy. Like I said recently, which upset so many people, guys, they're not spraying hydroxychloroquine in chemtrails because of the amount of hydroxychloroquine, HCQ, that they would need is astronomical.
At that altitude too. Yeah.
The milligrams that you have to take internally to do anything,
Yep.
right? And then you disperse it, and for every 6 feet, there's only like 1 million 6 feet squares is one person.
It's
Why
one
would you
part per billion at that point, you know?
right? Why
Yeah.
would you spray a billion parts to help one person? It wouldn't be done. So then the argument was, well, they're doing it to help the environment. I'm sorry. How is HCQ going to help the environment?
And you tell me to put fluoride in the water. How much fluoride do you need to actually protect your teeth? Is you're going to get that from drinking a glass of water?
Right. You're not.
Never.
This is all. So we have to really start thinking about these narratives.
Yep.
Great example. Now fluoride in the water and that scare is mainstream now.
Yeah.
You know what that tells me? There's something a lot worse to worry about because they let it go mainstream.
Yep.
I personally think it's deuterium. Somebody else may think it's something else. But we really have to take a deep breath on this stuff and use our critical thinking skills on everything. I think the reason why a lot of people got upset with me when I said they're not spraying hydroxychloroquine in the air to save us is because they probably forwarded that post without really thinking about it. It's okay. I've done the same thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't make you bad. It just means maybe you should vet it better the next time or use critical thinking.
Yeah.
Here's another great example that I love to use. Remember the big, huge Nasera narrative about 4 years ago when they put out all the bullet points?
Yep.
2 bullet points on one paper were this. Real estate's going to go back to 1950s level, and everybody's going to get a monthly check over $2,000. Okay, if you understand supply and demand,
It's coming.
that's impossible.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a law.
Yeah.
The more money that infuses into it doesn't drop the real estate prices. There's going to be competition, and it's just a law. And it's not a bad thing. It is what it is. Do I say Jasara is not going to happen? No, I believe there are elements of it that will. But we tag on to the Patriot narratives without questioning it.
Yeah.
And I caution people because that's exactly what we did when we were listening to the cabal. We would take the narratives from Fox News, Facebook, whatever it is, and many of us would just parrot that narrative from our church. Many of us would parrot that narrative without asking any questions. Yep. All I'm suggesting is I'm not trying to be an ass, but just don't fall into that same pattern just because it fits your mindset of where you want to be.
Yep. This is alignment with my beliefs. It must be true.
Yeah, you can't do that. You still have to have critical thinking. Yeah. Does it take more work? It does. Here's what I would suggest, though. If more people would have that attitude over time, then what happens is the information that's going to come out will be more and more truthful because they know there'll be pushback. Here's a great example. Michael Jacob brings it up all the time. Remember when the monkeypox narrative came out?
Yep.
The Patriots crushed that narrative so quick and showed how it would be impossible and it wouldn't work that even the mainstream media couldn't run with it anymore. They just couldn't. They're just like, we're done.
Can't do it.
Then they jumped off that ship really, really quick. So what happens is if we are focused more on getting it right than being right, I believe that the people that want to put out false narratives will start to diminish because they won't get the traction they once had. So this is the long-term plan. Why do I talk long-term plans? I love taking the cabal's playbook and using it against them. Everything they do is a long-term plan, a 100-year game.
Yep.
We think a week at a time. We have to play the long game. We play the long game. We leave an amazing place for generations to come, thousands of years to come, for we the people.
Well, when did they start getting into the educational system, and indoctrinating us? We went to school and starting in the 60s, right? 65 probably maybe 67, 68, I think maybe for me. We were indoctrinated back then. So they've been in this game for a very long time. They don't play it. It's just not an overnight thing.
Yeah, no, they know. And I like to tell you everybody this because it's true. Everything that they do, they sit back and view it through their lens in their boardrooms, laughing at us,
Yep. Yep.
laughing at
Because we're responding and reacting to it rather than
right.
being
When
proactive.
you put your mask on, they're laughing.
Yeah.
When you put two masks on, they're forwarding that email to all their buddies and laughing at you.
Yep. And we still see it here. People are still masked up and
I
gloved
know.
up and
I
really.
saw it today. My wife, who was trying to develop empathy for the things, because I'm in the empathy phase. Today she wanted to develop empathy and she just looked at this one lady on the bench and she got in the car. She was upset. And I go, like, what's going on? She goes, she's just so stupid. I go, I get it, honey.
Yep.
I get it.
I
Just
get it.
remember though, they've been propagandized. They've been MK Ultra.
Yep.
That just means they believe it more than we did.
Yep. Yep. Like I feel sorry for them more than they feel angry about them. You know, it's like I
Yeah.
feel sorry that I went to the bank the other day and she's sitting there in Bank of America and she's got the mask on, the gloves on. I'm like, seriously? Nobody in the bank has any masks on except for her. You know? Okay,
It
so
is.
maybe she has a reason. Maybe she's got an elderly parent at home. Maybe you may, you know, I don't know the whole story, but there's got to be a
Maybe
reason.
she's still believing the narrative
She's
though
still
that she's
believing it.
putting it on.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Buying into it at some point. Okay. Got a couple of minutes left here. I want to make sure that we have spent
I didn't know
enough
you had
time
me on a timer, man.
on Truth Tour. I want you to give
What's
me
that?
your best 2 minute reason for attending Truth Tour. Why should somebody
Because
show up?
Robert Imbrael will be there.
Ah, good reason.
That's it. Um, I believe this is an epic event. We're just going to manifest it. This will be the event of all events. With the cast of people that are there will blow you away. I don't know if you can show them on screen or not. Bring your phones and take notes, or pen and paper if you're old school like I am. There's going to be amazing information. The people there are honest, forthright people, and they just want the best for us. They're not getting paid to be there, so this is all about we the people. And
Outstanding.
Robert Imbraeli is running um, the video audio, setting it up, doing all that. So when something goes wrong, you just look for him in the back of the room.
I'm gonna have to wear my helmet so I get punched out too much there. I don't know. Yeah, we're working hard on it. I've been doing diagrams and things that I need to do to trying to simplify it as much as possible because we've only got 6 hours to set up, and I'm thinking that's gonna be a little tight, but we'll be able to do it. I'm not gonna worry
We'll
about it
figure
too
it
much.
out.
We'll be
Yeah.
okay.
And it's at a beautiful, beautiful facility too.
Yeah. So here's the facility. This is the Escondido Center for the Arts, and big, beautiful American flag there in the front. And the back court here is really kind of nice as well. There's beautiful greens. You wouldn't expect greens in California, but they have it there. Really nice location. And the ballroom that we have is going to seat 1,000, so it'll be a lot of fun. And then there's a VIP lunch, and VIP lunch gets you the opportunity to mix and mingle with the speakers. If you ever want to get your picture taken with Michael Jaco or Carrie Cassidy, that would be the opportunity to do that and ask them questions and get to know them a little bit.
It'd be amazing.
But
I'm excited. I'm
but
excited for this
the
one.
biggest benefit, speakers are great. Don't get me wrong, speakers are great. But that's not why you go to this event, right? Why you go to this event is because the people are going to be sitting to your left and to your right.
I
The
agree.
people you're going to meet. That's the important piece. As a community, we've got to come together. That's the only way we're going to win. And I hear it time and again, Lewis, I know you've heard it many times. I feel so alone. I feel like I can't talk to anybody. And they walk into a truth tour and they're like, wow, I'm home. I feel safe here. I feel like I can express myself. I can say that I'm a Trump supporter. I can say that I'm a patriot. I can say that I believe in freedom of speech, right? And no fear of being attacked.
Yeah. In fact, this will be our 76th Truth Tour. And in fact, this is the anniversary. So in 1 year, and I think it's 1 year and 1 day, this will be our 76th Truth Tour, which is pretty amazing accomplishment if we think about it. And I'd say the number one most used comment that we get is it was wonderful to connect with fellow patriots. And I always, as you know, I always ask people to make sure they're exchanging phone numbers and so on and so forth so they can stay in contact with these people because it is a great network. And sometimes our family and friends are not on the same page with us.
Very true. Very true. There's a lot of talk too that going forward, our family and friends won't be our inner circle. Inner circle is going to be people we meet at these kind of events and are thinking the same way. And I have a lot of credit to you because I've got a lot of friends now because of the Truth Tour. Bruce Poppy, I met him in Las Vegas. He sat down next to me with his wife, and we had a conversation. I'm like, I really like this guy. And then I saw him again in Anaheim, and now we're doing a show together. We've become really close friends. We pick up the phone, chat once in a while. It's really great. There's a lot of people like that now. Joe and Scott, another group, two guys that are really good friends. Carol Maureen Friesen. I mean, go down the list of all the speakers. A lot of them are now personal friends of mine, which is phenomenal.
It is beautiful.
Yeah.
It is, and these are all really, really good people too.
They really are. They're all looking for the same thing. We all want the same thing, and it's so good.
Wait, I just realized W.a.r. O'Brien wasn't on that list, was she?
No, I don't have the updated poster. That may be
Oh yeah,
one
so
from yesterday.
W.a.r. O'Brien will be there, which is so exciting. She is such an amazing person. So
You had
she
her on
just,
yesterday, did you?
she just no. I had her. We were on together about a week ago, but she just confirmed yesterday
Okay, great,
with me that she will definitely be there in person,
outstanding.
and that's going to be awesome.
You see it on the screen, folks. Truthtour.net. Go there now. Get your tickets. If you want to attend for free, you can certainly do that. Escondido is centrally located. Very easy to get to if you're in San Diego. It's North County, San Diego. If you're in Irvine, Orange County, if you're in Los Angeles, it's a nice drive down from there. It is easy from Las Vegas. Get on 15, head south, get off in Escondido, and it's literally 2 miles from the exit. If you're coming from Phoenix, you're coming from Tucson, either take the 10 or take the 8 inward, and you get here pretty quickly as well. So no excuse. It's an opportunity, really an opportunity of a lifetime. And I'm going to tell you my personal experience. Phoebe found Truth Tour information online last year. And she said, hey, Truth Tour's coming to San Diego. We got to go. What's the Truth Tour? Never heard of it, right? But I said, okay, let's go. So she got us a couple of VIP tickets. We went, and we had a great time. It was 8 hours, and it was just speaker after speaker after speaker. We went home with a list of people that we didn't know before, names and phone numbers and people that we could connect with. And my personal story is I went up on that stage before the tour got started, and I just felt this energy like, I don't know what it is. I feel like I belong here. I don't know why I feel like I belong here. So strong. And I was telling Phoebe that when we were driving home that night. And sure enough, I was speaking on stage in Las Vegas at the end of Truth Tour #1, and again, Truth Tour #2 in Anaheim, and now this big event coming up here as well. And I'm looking forward to it. I really can't wait to meet everybody. I'm going to do everything I can to have Doug handle a lot of the stuff so I can have a little bit of time to network.
Yeah,
but,
yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. And it's going to be great. I'm excited about it. The energy will be phenomenal.
It will
just
be
phenomenal.
Yeah.
The build up to this is what we're hearing from people that are attending and the speakers. They're just so excited about this event. So see, and maybe if this works out, I'll do free events in the future. By the way, if you really want to help me do free events in the future, please be a vendor or a sponsor for us because I take it in the shorts. And it's what you got 1,000 like-minded people. It'd be a great person to be a vendor or a sponsor.
Yeah, you know what I should do is I should send out an email to my list as well and invite people who might be business owners in the area to do that. I'll do that today. I think that's a great idea because we have some tables to fill, and that would be a great opportunity to meet a lot of Patriots, fellow like-minded people, which is not easy to do sometimes in this environment.
Yeah, and there'll be heavy security guys there too, so you should be in good shape.
Outstanding. Louis, great having you on the show. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much for taking time out of. I know your schedule is really busy. You've got a documentary coming. You've got this event coming, and there's just more on your plate than I can possibly imagine.
I don't think about it. I got to keep moving forward.
Yep, absolutely. Thanks so much. And thank you guys for watching as well. Remember to subscribe to the channel. That keeps us knowing that you're out there, and follow us on Telegram at Renegade Media. And we look forward to seeing you again real soon. Thanks for watching.
See you, Robert.